We're in Chatham today, and a hometown for us, and it's a park put up for the remembrance of my son, Perry Molema.
So what we've decided to do here on this particular project, and because Perry was so adamant about cleaning up the downtown, we are lucky to have this great spot to be able to install this on. But what we're doing here is we're putting in a permeable patio surface, about a 50-foot diameter circle, with 3 pathways coming off of it, connecting into the various sidewalks on this corner. On top of that permeable patio, we're actually going to put in some very large bubbling stones. So we've got various size stones. I think the smallest one is about 2,000 pounds, the largest one's about 8,000 pounds. We've drilled 3-inch holes through these rocks, and we'll be pumping large volumes of water. So it'll be very showy, and that water will cascade down and then permeate through the interlock pavers and then back into a tank that's underground. The other beauty about this whole system is it's actually going to be collecting rainwater as well, so that we won't need to top up the water due to evaporation and that sort of thing.
The plant material, we decided to keep the plant material very simple, and we wanted to use dwarf plant material, dwarf ornamental grasses, dwarf black-eyed Susans, coral bells, things that didn't require a lot of maintenance but gave you lots of color. And all of the plants that we chose were all of Perry's personal favorites that he really liked. So we tried to incorporate his favorites like the redbuds, the black-eyed Susans, just picking stuff that I knew that he loved. The biggest challenge, I think, would be just getting, not getting people involved, but initially just kind of where do you start? You know, coming up with a design when you really have no budget, it's like how big do you go? So we went grand thinking we'll go grand, and if we can't do it we can always scale back rather than just doing like a little bubbling rock. So it's actually surprising that, it shouldn't be surprising, but it is that we came up with all the funds that we actually wanted to do this, and didn't have to scale back the project at all. The support from people has been overwhelming. Support from people all over the world, like people in Istanbul, Turkey, New Brunswick, Victoria, all over the place. We've got tons of support towards this project.
This is a gateway opportunity at the east end of the downtown, and it was a perfect location to memorialize all the contributions that Perry's made to the municipality over the number of years. Perry and I go back a long time, since I moved here in '84, and managing the horticultural and parks department. Perry was always willing to give product and his time. We're anxious to see the end results, and it's a great memorial and testament to the character and generosity of Perry Molema. The maintenance for the park is going to be provided through the generosity of Al's Lawn Care. He's signed a 10-year contract with us. So for the next 10 years, Al will be managing the maintenance within the park.
It's pretty cool to be involved. I really wanted to help out Chuck and Sasha and all the people that have put in a ton of time doing this, and I really wanted to be part of a tribute to Perry that'll be here hopefully forever. I think my favorite part is that the biggest rock we've already nicknamed the Chief, which was kind of Perry's nickname. I think the fact that it's going to be surrounded by all of his favorite trees and plants, and more than anything that it was Sasha's design and Chuck putting it in. I mean, that's more special than anything that those two guys are. It's really their baby, so I know it's going to be special and mean a lot to Perry too.
Well, we met Perry probably close to 10 years ago now, and where we met him was here at Congress, and he's always talking about where he's been, and more importantly about where the business is going and why we should get involved. And he was very charismatic and his belief on the growth of the water gardening industry, and he not just talked about it, he actually lived it. More times than not, he'd be calling me or texting me and saying, you know, what are you doing today? And it'd be odd hours. He goes, oh, I'm in Egypt today, or I'm in Turkey today, or Australia. And everywhere he went, he was an ambassador, not only for aquascape and water gardening, but for Canada in general. And you know, he could get into places where most people couldn't, because he had that demeanor when he walked in the room. He was a very calming presence. And that's what water gardening is all about. Is you know, it leaves, de-stresses you, and you know, gets you in a certain frame of mind. And Perry was always in that good frame of mind, and that's what got me involved in the business. Was his passion for the business and passion for life. You know, he had a big heart, and well, the people that knew him the best loved and respected him the most. You know, that's basically it in a nutshell. Yeah.
I worked for Perry for many years. He had a local garden center, Colonial Nurseries and Gardens, and I worked for him and Sherry for years. They had a huge Christmas store, very, very well known in the community. He ended up selling his business and going to work for Aquascape, but I ended up staying in touch with Perry for years, doing drawings for him when he was with Aquascape, and just always in touch with the family, almost like my second family. And then Perry actually told me, you know, Aquascape was hiring and very excited for me, so I applied, got the job, and was working with Perry. And so Perry's kind of, through the years, been like my boss, my friend, mentor.
It's very awesome, the park.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing.
Yeah, you're speechless when you look at it. It's just awesome. It grew from a small idea to a big idea.
Yeah.
And it's very nice.
Way above our expectations, I can tell you that.
Yeah, very
it's
proud.
unbelievable.
Proud of
Very
it.
proud.
This park is just an amazing effort, you know, from everybody that's doing it, all of Perry's friends and some family. It's going to be a beautiful tribute, and it'll be really nice for all people of downtown Chatham to come and sit and listen to the water and watch the birds and enjoy. It's just making it more beautiful for everybody.
He'd be laughing for sure, absolutely. I think he's going to love it. I mean, one of the last designs that Perry and I worked on together was very similar to this in a project in Goderich, and you know, it was just the whole theory of it being downtown and beautifying the downtown. I absolutely think, yeah, I know he's even looking down on it right now and loving it. And when he sees those big bubbling rocks go in there, it's gonna be pretty awesome.